And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. My name is McHugh Dave, publisher and editor of the news, and this is from the Cheap Seats. I sit down with this gentleman here. He's going to introduce himself in a second. We talk about what's going on in Livingston Parish athletics. So, good morning, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And today we have a lot of catch up to do. We did not quite have time to pull some shows together last week. So, this week we are going to be talking about the parish tournament, as well as some coaching news. So let's wrap up the parish tournament first. Basketball, of course.
Yeah.
As you said, just a week of great games that was capped off by a wild Saturday. So run us through. Why don't we run through let's run through the final finishes, both boys and girls.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about Saturday.
And kind of work about Saturday was just a fantastic day of games. They call it Championship Saturday, and they kind of lived up to it. We'll start with the girls' championship game. You had Albany beat Walker 47-41. You look at both of these teams, and during the week you're kind of looking at it, and I kept telling people if the bracket holds and your seeds work out, Walker was the number one, Albany's number two. If your seeds work out, it should be a really good game because the teams, they match up really well. They've got some depth. They've got experience, a little bit of everything. And Albany gets a couple key rebounds there down the stretch. Winds up 47-41. Keep paying attention to these teams because I think they've both got a chance to do some good things. You don't want to say tournament at this point, but if they keep playing like they do, I think they do have a chance to get back to Hammond where they both ended in the semis, I believe, last season. Like I said, just really similar teams. I think Albany is now 16-0 going into the break, and Walker has one loss, and that one loss is to Albany. Really good game there for the girls' championship. On the boys' side, it was they held true on your seeding as well. Number one Walker beats French Settlement. Number two, it was 67-57. I think French Settlement cut it to, or actually took a 2-point lead at one point, and then Walker went on a little run right there at the end of the first half to kind of pull away for good. But I think the biggest thing here I asked Coach Skiro about, does it ever get old? He's like, no, he said at this point, this is kind of the expectation for us, and we kind of established that. And at the same time, talking to French Settlement coach Jake Bourgeois, he said, I think we showed some people some things tonight, and another great game, and again, two teams I think can go will be able to make some noise in the playoffs here.
So, a lot of good basketball there at the end of the Saturday. Will you run through the final standings from the parish tournament?
Oh, let's see. We had on the third place game for the girls. This was a good one. Came down to some made free throws for Springfield at the end. Went back and forth. It was Springfield and French Settlement in that game. Springfield wins 59-55. Coach Billy Drell was trying to figure out, the last time Springfield girls had finished third in the tournament. We couldn't figure it out, so if anybody knows, give Coach Dreyer a ring, and he and I will talk about it and figure out what it was. That was just another great game there. And then you had in the consolation final, you had Denham Springs 47, Holden 40. I believe Holden started that game on a 10-0 run, so Denham had to come back and get that win there. Another great game. Holden right now, not as many numbers maybe as you've seen in the past, so they're kind of having to grit out some wins and some games at this point. It's just one of those deals, kind of going through some growing pains, and I think Denham, I think they're sitting on one loss too as well, which was the loss to Springfield here in the tournament. But in talking to Coach Rudy Smith, he said maybe that loss will help them get kind of refocused on what they're doing. They picked up a win last night or yesterday in the Brew tournament. We're in the midst of tournament season right now, and some teams have taken their breaks. So that's where we are. Boys wise, Live Oak 50, Denham Springs 49 in the third place game. As you can tell, that was another one there. Denham kind of makes a run. I think if I remember correctly, they had the lead at the end of the first quarter. Live Oak comes back, takes the lead. They kind of hold on. Then all of a sudden at the end, you get down to a few minutes left. And at this point, you can kind of, I think Miss Renee Glasscock and I were kind of standing in the lobby. and you could kind of feel that crowd coming in, for those championship games, and all of a sudden, everybody just kind of stops and they see Denham. I was like, okay, Denham's back in this thing now, and so they make this little run, and you could feel that crowd coming into just the atmosphere there, kind of taking over. But like I said, just another great game there, and then. In the consolation championship, you had Doyle defeat Holden 74-62. If I remember correctly, I'm strictly going by memory. I think Doyle hit 10 or 11 three pointers in that contest there. But like I said, it just another great day. And if you weren't there, it was standing room only. When you get to those championships, literally people standing around, you can't hear yourself talk. Standing to the person, the person on either side of you, can't hear yourself. And I think I said it. You could kind of feel the crowd, if that makes sense. You're kind of surrounded there, but that's the atmosphere that this tournament creates, and that's a credit to everybody involved at Doyle and the teams throughout the parish, because it wasn't just people, watching their teams in those finals. It was people. You can see people all during the week, and you can tell, okay, they've been here the entire time during the day, and what they watched every game, and a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, people on the edge of their seats. A lot of good games.
Great stuff
from that tournament. Before we get into the other piece of news we're going to discuss today, I want to remind, if you're a soccer parent, if you're a soccer coach, if you're a soccer player, please try to get us some of your statistics. Rob was obviously very busy last week with the parish tournament, moving into this week. So any kind of holiday experiences y'all have, please try to get us that information.
Doesn't have to be a lot. We just want to get the kids recognized for what they're doing. They put in the time, the effort, and we just want to recognize what they're doing at this point, and just let people know where you're at in your seasons.
So, getting into the other piece of news, this broke early this week, I believe, or was it at the end of last week? There's going to be a change in the guard for Walker baseball. So tell us a little bit about, what you know about that situation.
Coach Randy Sandifer has been at Walker for a long time, and as long as I've been here, he has been the Walker baseball coach, and he's decided to step down from his baseball coaching duties. Basically, just said he's kind of tired and just kind of wants to see what life is like on the other side of the fence, I guess, is kind of what he said. He's got a daughter who's a senior there at Walker, and then his son is a junior on the baseball team. So he said it's going to be a little bit different now, going home at 2:30 rather than staying there at the field and keeping up with things. But he said he kind of got to Thanksgiving break, and he said normally what they do is they open up the field and they allow players to come in and work on their skills, throwing, hitting, fielding, whatever. And he didn't open the field up during Thanksgiving break. And he said he kind of, it's kind of one of those things where it didn't cross his mind, and, he felt fine. And he said, that's when I kind of knew that maybe, the effort that was kind of needed to keep the program where it was and maybe move forward, just, wasn't, or the heart, shouldn't say effort, because if you know Coach Sandifer, he's all about putting that time and the effort into the program. He said he got to the summer, they made it to the semifinals in 2021, and then got beat in the first round last year at home. He said at first, he's kind of feeling maybe it was the way the season ended for him, and he said, okay, that's one thing. And then he said he got to the summer, and if the summer programs are playing every day, which he said that's the fun part, where you're working and you're playing every day. And then, like I said, got to Thanksgiving break, and he just kind of felt like his heart wasn't into it. And and on the flip side, I totally get where you're coming from, wanting to be a dad. My son's a senior, and right now it's whatever he's trying to do, we're trying to be a part of, because you don't have the time's running out. You don't have too much time left where you can do it. So I totally understand that. And, I'm wishing Coach Sandifer the best. We always have really good conversations, and a lot of times it doesn't have anything to do with baseball. We just kind of talk about life in general. So I'm hoping we can still have some of those conversations.
Sure. Dad to dad.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, we'll be going into some holiday basketball and soccer, but not much because we're coming up on Christmas, and there's usually a small break, at least a week
Little
or
bit,
so.
not very much, but we will. And I think I think French Settlement is going to have a tournament. They'll be hosting a tournament there, I think, in the first week of January, and getting things back rolling again. So
be on the lookout for that. And of course, as always, go follow Rob on Twitter. He is posting updates whenever he gets them, or of course, live tweeting games as quarters or halves end. If you'll introduce yourself, sir, we'll wrap it up.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor in the news. Appreciate you guys out there for joining us. This is the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show. This is From the Cheap Seats. It's where we talk about what's going on in athletics in Livingston Parish. Please remember the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. That's $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.